Europe have been open for half an hour so far, and we're not seeing much progress. In fact, a little bit of upside for some of the key markets. FTSE is slightly weaker. We've got a slight gain on the French market, and we're flatlining on the DAX, so we're not moving anywhere quickly at this point, and you can see that on the benchmark, the reflection there as it flatlines too, versus a little bit of red as we began the trading session. We were modestly down as the markets looked at the wrap-up from Wall Street, where the US markets traded weaker. We had a somewhat negative reaction to US retail sales that were better than anticipated, and again putting some movement, some volatility back into the Treasury market, causing that sell-off. But today, as we look at the data, it's all about UK inflation here. The headlines come down, but the core, the services part, also still causing somewhat of a headache for policymakers, not getting rapid enough progress there. In terms of the sectors, as we dig into the boards here in Europe, evenly split now, that's where you're seeing the progress. We just had two sectors trading positive at the start, and that has expanded fairly rapidly. Retail at the top spot, that's a bounce, almost 0.5%. Insurance names progressing. Household goods that were flatlining now adding about 0.25%. Autos, big change. It was one of the weaker areas of the market, now stepping up by 0.2. Same story for basic resources, that was right at the bottom of the boards as we got going today, is now adding green, up 0.1%. Travel and leisure taking the bottom performing spot. The positioning to around telecoms is weaker by about 0.33%. Let's get into the stocks on the move. Admiral, one of the big ones, the insurance player in the UK, says it's well positioned now for encouraging outlook, 6% higher as we see the stock respond to its earnings that crossed today. Direct line in the space up a similar amount as you can see. M&S, another day of positivity. We saw it yesterday on the back of its guidance change. It is up 3.6% now in the session this morning. Of course, inflation numbers key here as well. Delivery here down 2.1% in the food space. Carlsberg, it had numbers out today. The market is giving this a negative reaction now. We've also had comments crossing around its exposure to Russia. Let's get to sterling. It is ticking higher after July inflation data painted a mixed picture for the UK economy. Headline inflation came in at 6.8% on the year, in line with expectations, but both the core and services CPI figures came in slightly hotter than expected. Chancellor Jeremy Hunt says the country isn't yet at the finish line in its fight against inflation, as today's figure puts wage growth above headline inflation. Arabile, we've had some time now to crunch the numbers, about an hour and a half, and it seems as though markets are thinking that there's still work for the Bank of England.
There certainly is then, Karen.